read. So to utilize my time more, I was like, why not read and film an ASMR video as well? Video. So I hope you enjoy this. Sit back, sit back, sit back. Relax, relax, relax. And fall asleep to my voice. So I started reading this book yesterday, and I got up to chapter 10. Which is crazy. So I think we'll just read one chapter. This is the bookmark I have. Okay. Chapter 10, Remodeling Reality. As our YouTube channel evolved, so did our home. Ruby invested heavily in remodeling. Every change designed to please the camera's eye. Goodbye, ugly yellow walls. Hello, stark white and board pattern. Sterile but oh so photogenic. Ruby meticulously curated the porch, adding stylish patio furniture, plump pillows, plump pillows, and atmospheric lanterns. We even removed the house numbers to avoid the hassle of having to blur them in videos. The result was a picturesque facade. Perfect for the camera, but perhaps a bit too perfect for real life. A visible symbol of our transition from an ordinary family to YouTube stars. For me, every video shoot remained a special kind of torture. I can never get used to it or relax. It was like one of those reoccurring nightmares where you're suddenly naked on the stage with a sea of eyes staring back at you, mocking. I mean, puberty is brutal enough, let alone with an audience. Thankfully, I found a silver lining in this heinous new situation. Leverage. I figured out that if I wanted something from Ruby, a later bedtime, a new outfit, or permission to hang out with her friends, my best bet was to ask her while the camera was rolling. Hey, that's pretty good. See, the thing I like about Shari is when I used to watch her YouTube channel when I was really young, a lot of people didn't like her, but I liked her because I felt like there was some sort of connection, like older sister type thing. But although she seemed really like uptight and like goody two shoes, I feel like she was just feeding what her mother wanted her to be, just so she could survive. So just hearing her perspective already is like, I love it. But also the things that these kids went through is heartbreaking and insane, and I never wish for any children to grow up in this kind of environment ever. Okay, let's keep going. It was a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of deal. Ruby wanted me as her happy smiling co-star. It was going to cost her a trip to the mall, a get out of chores free card, a shiny new gadget, whatever I needed at the time. Ruby tried to make the whole surreal enterprise seem fun, even beneficial for us. If you film your ice cream outing, you can pay for it with the 8 passengers credit card, she'd say. Just think, free food and a tax write-off. What teen wouldn't want to flash a credit card to feel grown up and important? I became fluent in the language of tax loopholes before I could even drive. Outfit hauls, trips to the mall. I learned it could all be written off as business expense. If I filmed in the car on our way to as a business expense. It did start to feel like we'd hacked the system. Why wouldn't everyone want to make a living by turning their kids into content? By commodifying every moment from cradle to college. Our first brand deal was with a slow cooker company. They sent us one of their fancy pots and a bunch of meals to cook in it. After that, the floodgates opened. Our house became a revolving door of brand deals and swag. Clothes, tech, snacks, you name it. We reviewed it. Some days, there were so many gifts that we couldn't open them all. Boxes would sit for days in the hallway, unopened. We got to go on lots of all-expenses-paid vacations, always with the omnipresent camera. One of our first was to Seattle on a brand deal for a game company. We stayed in an Airbnb on the Phuket Sound, which was particularly special because it was where Kevin had attended grad school, and the whole family went, including Ruby's parents. That's a pretty big brand deal if like a lot of people were able to go in their family. It was crazy how our lives had become. We used to make our own granola, spending hours scanning fruit and dipping and clipping coupons and buying everything in bulk to save money. Now we had more stuff than we knew what to do with. We'd gone from being a family that was proud of making do with less to one that had too much and more on the way. I thought about Dad, who had always been the intellectual powerhouse of our family, dedicating his brilliant mind to understanding earthquakes and making the world a safer place. Yet, it was Mom's newfound obsession with the internet that was finally bringing us true financial success. Point, shoot, upload, and watch the money roll in. On October 15, 2015, Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day, Ruby sat alone on her bed, facing her camera, about to film a video that was a little different from the one she'd done before. A story she hadn't talked about in years, her miscarriage in 2009. Her voice cracked as she described the sterile doctor's room, the cold chill on her stomach, and then the deafening silence. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering pronunciation of certain words. Silence where there should have been the rhythmic heartbeat of her baby boy. Ruby's pain was palpable as she described the moment she realized her baby was dead, and his little body would have to be taken out of her. The confusion she felt waking up in Kevin's car, feeling utterly empty, both physically and emotionally, without ever being able to see her baby's body before it was disposed of. Nothing for her to take home, no ashes, nothing to hold on to. Her anger about her lack of agency and the way things were handled still simmered, and by the end, she was weeping, years of buried frustration spilling over. Anyway, I don't know if this video is going to be helpful to any of you, she said, wiping her tears. Gosh, this has been really helpful for me. The video didn't go viral, but it was powerful, and I still have complicated feelings about it. I am glad Ruby felt able to share her story in such a raw and vulnerable way. In the realm of family vlogging, it so happens that rawness and vulnerability are the lifeblood that keeps subscribers engaged and channels thriving. But the line between authenticity and exploitation becomes dangerously blurred when children are involved. My unborn baby brother in heaven would suffer no ill effects from Ruby sharing his story. But what about the rest of us, whose stories were being shared daily? What are the lasting repercussions of growing up on camera without any say in the matter? How does that constant exposure shape a child's sense of self, their future relationships, their way of understanding of privacy? And what does consent really look like when you're a child, too afraid to say no? Personally, I mourn those precious formative years spent in service to someone else's vision. Vision. Ruby might claim her kids were always on board, but the truth is, we never really had a choice in the matter. And what about Ruby? What might be the emotional repercussions of her snowballing online success? Yes, Ruby's drive was bringing in money for her family and validation for her ego, but none of those superficial rewards could fix what was broken inside her. Instead, they seemed to fuel a vicious cycle, pushing her to seek more validation, more views, more content, often at the expense of her family. The most problematic element in our family dynamic, Ruby's relentless ambition, fueled by a potent mixture of unresolved pain and narcissism, had become the driving force of our existence. It was as if we had taken the most poisonous plant in our garden, and instead of uprooting it, made it the centerpiece of our lives. And that is the end of Chapter 10. Chapter 10, which was called Remodeling Reality. Remodeling Reality. I think reading this book and starting off with this book in 2026 is really eye-opening with how social media is just such a weird concept, and the blur of reality versus like what we see online is so fake and so like, you know, but I'm excited to further read this book, and I'm really excited to learn a lot from Shari, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you want me to read more from this book, as I actually do enjoy reading. I just get distracted sometimes, like my mind will be like, how long is